I noticed something interesting. The prevailing sort of narrative on the left before 2020 was, we can't just run against Trump. We have to talk about policy. We have to talk about, material improvements to people's lives. And it seems like that strategy kind of failed, right? It failed really in the primaries. It failed in the general. It doesn't seem like the normie Dems, the people that are turning out for these elections, aside from, movement people, it just isn't a strategy that really worked out for us. So I noticed that Sam was kind of touting that, he likes the strategy that they were trying out in California, where they were tying the GOP to Trump and running against Trump in 2020. So I just wanted to kind of, put a marker on that and see what you guys thought about that basically we've conceded that running on policy and running for people's material conditions is not a worthwhile strategy at this point in time, at least. And that running against Trump or running against Trumpism is, the successful strategy that's going to carry us to a victory in 2022. So I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
I think it's both. But
I would agree that I think there was a bit of maybe hope that didn't turn out that talking about policy and Bernie's policies and how much they're better than Biden's would have an effect. And I don't think it had a great effect. And I do agree with the caller. Like, look how Castillo beat Fujimori. That was negative partisanship, right? And I feel like negative partisanship is, if we're comparing the two things, it's good to have somebody that you can paint as very scary to the other. That's why, it was just diabolically stupid that we ran Hillary in 2016.
Right. And negative partisanship was also particularly helpful to the Democrats during the coronavirus pandemic, where people's lives were materially affected by the complete incompetence of the big bad. So it was really a way to connect those two things. And it also created this bad incentive to vote for Biden because people perceived this is a time to not take risks.
Yeah, and I think the left needs to not be afraid to be. I think they need to own we're the ones who take on the hard right, not this being afraid of you're going at Republicans too much, so you're in the no. I don't think that's really a concern. I think if you show that actually we're the people who take these threats seriously, look at the way Biden, and I guess we'll see if the reconciliation gets through, but the things he promised about being able to keep the party in line, it was clear that Bernie's solution was probably better in terms of my position, in terms of you need to go at these people like Manchin, Sinema, or they're going to F you. And yeah, I don't know. I think the caller's right, I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah,
right.
I appreciate the question, though.
I would push back a little bit, only because I don't know. Go ahead.
One more. Go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
No, I would just say, I would say, the lesson from the primary necessarily in my mind wasn't that clear cut, if only because it wasn't really as though Bernie wasn't sufficiently anti-Trump or tying him to the GOP, or as though any of the other primary candidates who were only pushing an anti-Trump message did particularly well over Bernie's. In the end, it seemed as though, there was a failure in the analysis of what was going on in those primaries by mainstream media to accurately paint that picture for the people who weren't watching it directly, or who were already being inundated with, the propaganda that Joe Biden was inevitability and he was Obama's successor, et cetera, et cetera. Because at the end of the day, Joe Biden didn't really say anything to get that position. He didn't run anti-Trump. He barely said anything until he was until people were told to vote for him. So I think there's more of a lesson about, maybe the message matters less than how we get it out, and if we're able to define our narrative for ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Ben.
One more quick thing. So I just wanted to say, I love the Thursday shows. You guys are doing a great job. And I didn't realize until you guys were all back in the studio how much I missed and how much it adds to the show of just hearing Matt's off camera, off microphone laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just great to have you guys back and hear Matt. And Matt's really stepped up his comedy game with the impressions. And I just want to say you guys are doing a great job and appreciate all the shows and you guys getting us through.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You know what they're saying? Matt Lex are just getting better and better at comedy.
Many people are saying.
Facts.
That's That's
Have
a play
good
on
day,
that.
guys.
And the
that,
not-mats
what
are
was
nervous.
it? That Prison Planet tweet, right? You guys know what I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah, that's what I said. And the not-mats are getting nervous.
Yeah.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.